Hey everyone, today I want to take a quick look at something that I had recently noticed in the 4th edition Dungeon Master's Guide that somehow I had not noticed before. I've had this book for about 10 years since I first got into 4th edition, and yet I've never really came across this page for whatever reason. So if you flip to the back of the book, you'll see that there are a few dungeon tiles, and then there's this page here that has PC combat cards and monster combat cards, and these are a way to help you keep track of an encounter of what's going on. You've got a place for the character name, their initiative result, and a reminder at the start of the turn to apply ongoing damage, places to record any conditions and what ends those conditions. You have checkboxes to indicate if they use their second wind, if they used action points, if they're bloodied, and how many of their healing surges they've used. There's then also a box to keep track of the damage they've received, and then any other notes that you have. And then there is a reminder at the end of the turn to make sure that they attempt any saving throws and end any duration effects that they have. So it's really helpful little tool all in one place right there to help you work through an encounter, and if you're having a combat encounter, to keep track of everything. The monster card is similar. It has a lot of the same stuff. It has a different note that indicates to check for any recharge. So if they used a power that recharges, you should do that at the beginning of the turn. And then it's got some boxes about whether they've used daily or encounter powers, and then the same stuff for the end of the turn. And I mostly thought that this was interesting, that mostly because I've had this book for so long and I never really came across it before. This is clearly not something that's unique to 4th edition and not something groundbreaking in the sense that I know that I've used index cards before. I know some people do similar things just in their notepads. I know that there's apps that can help you with this. So there's a lot of ways that you can do this thing. I just find it interesting that it was in the 4th edition book. I went and looked in like the 3rd edition book. I didn't see something similar in there. So it's just an interesting thing that I've somehow had overlooked all these years. I went ahead and printed out a few just to kind of get a glimpse of them and how this would work in practice. So I figured there's a couple ways that you could probably go through it. The most obvious one would be that you have your stack of cards and then you just kind of page through them. And that way you keep track of the initiative order, because they would always stay in sequence, and then everybody has their turn and you do the thing as you flip through the different cards. The downside of that one is that obviously when a monster is attacking, the character is going to take some damage, and you would need to make a note on their particular card that they've taken some damage. So just flipping through them may not be the best way to go. Another alternative is that you could just lay them out on the table so that you can keep track of everything. And then they're all there, and you just kind of work your way down. It's not quite so obvious that it's a initiative order, but at least they're all in front of you, and you can just kind of keep track of all of them in one place like that. So I figured that would work either way. But again, it's not groundbreaking. This is not a 4th edition revolutionary thing or anything like that. This is more just, I was going through the Dungeon Master's Guide and saw this page and just wondered, boy, how did I not see that for 10 years? And I thought it was pretty neat that they gave you these cards, and you could just print them out and make copies of them and use them in your games pretty easily. So anyway, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear, what kind of things do you use to keep track of your combat encounters or any other encounters, to keep tabs on all these different things in here. Let me know that down in the comments. Until next time, take care.